In this lesson, we'll be talking about different types of I/O, input, output, redirection, and how to redirect to input output files. There are three default types of input and outputs. They are standard input, standard output, and standard error. By default, standard input comes from the keyboard, and standard output and standard error are displayed to the screen. Each one of these input and output types is given a file descriptor. File descriptors are just numbers that represents open files. For us humans, it's easier to reference files by name, but it's easier for computers to reference them by numbers. You might be thinking, my keyboard isn't a file, or nor is my screen. On one level, that's true, but on another level, it's not. Linux represents practically everything as a file. This abstraction will allows you to do some powerful things like take the standard output of one command that would normally be displayed to your screen, and you can use it as the input to the another command, or even redirect that output to a file. Use the greater sign to redirect output and less than sign to redirect input. The greater sign will redirects outputs from command to a file, while less than sign redirects inputs from file to command. This explicit way of using redirection is to provide a file descriptor number. However, if one is omitted, then the file descriptor 0 is assumed for input and 1 for output direction. When you use two greater than signs, the redirector output will append to the file. Normally, with the redirection of your file, it follows the redirection operator. If you want to use a file descriptor instead of file name, use the ampersand symbol. Use the ampersand symbol. So instead of redirecting standard error to a file with two greater than out.error, for instance, you can redirect it to a standard output with 2 greater than ampersand and 1. If you want to ignore output error and standard output, if you want to ignore output, you can send it to the null device, which is dev/null. The null device is a special file that throws away whatever feed to it. You may hear people refer to this as a bit bucket. If you don't want to see errors on your screen and you don't want to save them to a file, you can redirect them to null device. Let's look all these things in a practical. Let's look at the output of the ls space -l. Mm, Now let's redirect that standard output to a file by using the greater than symbol. ls space -l greater than. We have a files.text, right? We have file also. We can use this file.text, file.txt. Click on enter. If we look at the contents of a file.text, let me run cat file.txt. See, the output of the ls command, we got the same output when we run cat file dot text, because the output of this ls hyphen l is acts as a input for this. Now the output of this ls hyphen l have been stored into this file, have been redirected by using the greater than symbol. ls double greater than files dot txt. You can append to an existing file with two greater than symbols. So let's take the output, standard output of ls and append it to files. For ls, we know it should not display the detailed information. It will simply display this information. Now I'm appending this to the file.txt, which means, let me show that also. Let's file.txt. It will display both. This is the ls hyphen l information, and when we scroll down, it display all the. Let me show again. Oh, sorry. Here I have given files.txt. I need to give here file.txt and click on enter, and let me run this less command so that we'll get all the ls hyphen l output and the ls output. See here, these are all the files. When we run ls command, we got this all output. When we run ls hyphen l, we got this detailed information. What? Mm, input redirection works like this. Let me sort from just being less than and file dot txt. Here the it redirects the contents into sort. Let me enter. You can see that the sort was run, and the on the command this is really equivalent to sort files dot text. File descriptor 1 is assumed for output redirection, while file descriptor 2 is assumed for error redirection. So this, let me run ls hyphen help. This is same as ls hyphen l 1 greater than file dot text. Keep in mind, don't give spaces in between 1 and greater than symbol. It will throw an error. File dot txt. It throws an error. Oh, I run by mistake this thing. It was same dot. When you run, this is same as this. Input and output redirection can be combined. So let's use file dot text as input for sort command. Sort less than file dot text. I'm giving this as input for the sort. greater than sorted files. Click on enter. And it's redirect that output to sorted. Let me run the cat command to know the contents. It has been worked. When a program encounters an error, it reports its findings on standard error. File description 1 is for standard output, while 2 is for standard error, as you know. File descriptor 1 is the default descriptor for output redirection. So this can mean that not all the output generated by a program is captured by default. Let's to let's look an example an example ls file dot txt and not here. These are the two files. You can see that ls command founds the file dot text and the other command other file not here. The file is not here was not there. And let's run the same command again. This time giving as out greater than and then out. So in this situation, file descriptor one standard out was redirected to the file called out. So here, let me run and let me give you a clarity. See, here it has been displayed only the error. So standard error was not redirected; it was displayed to our screen. Let me run that out. See, here the file.txt has been redirected to out, and the not here has been displayed in our screen. Let me run ls files file.txt, not hyphen here. We are redirecting our error to out.err. So here we are redirecting standard error into the out.err. So standard output came into our screen and the standard error went to this file. Let me run this. Let me also run cat out.error. Okay. The to the cat out file has been redirected and to cat out.error to this file the standard error has been redirected. This can actually be handy because you can send standard output one place and standard error to other. So let me run at that time ls file.txt, not here, one greater than one means the standard output. I'm giving this to the out and followed by 2 greater than out.error. Click on enter. Let me do cat out. It has been redirected file text. Let me run cat out.error. Same thing. You can also combine the standard output and the standard error. Let's do that now. ls files dot txt. ls we have file right. txt, not here. greater than out both. We are throwing to both. 2 greater than ampersand and 1. So to combine this, we need to run this command and click on enter. Let me run cat out dot both. It should display both files, file.txt and the standard error, standard output and the standard input. See, it has been displayed both. Let's use the null device. To use that, let me run ls file.txt. Not here. If you want to ignore, you can send those all errors to this dev null. 2 greater than slash ev null. Or else you can also run ls file.txt. Not here. Greater than slash f slash null. Acha. Okay, you can run this, you can use this. You can give, we can also give both just error message, or you can give both ls files file.txt, not hyphen here, greater than def slash null. And you can also give cannot access. You can redirect to dev null also by using this file. It is working. You can use this ls file.txt, not here, to and we are using this standard error. We are redirecting this to the dev null. Here we don't have access. You can use you can run through root from root also. Maybe it works. For now, you can use this ls file.txt, and we are doing only one thing. We are redirecting the standard errors to the null device. In this lesson, we covered standard input, standard output, and standard error. The default file descriptor for standard input is 0, while standard output is 1, and the standard error is 2. You can redirect input and output with greater than and less than symbols. If you want to use redirection in conjunction with file, you can redirect output to dev null, as we discussed now. Dev null descriptor, and you can use ampersand to prevent out from being displayed to your screen or written to a file. See you in the next session.